This is Lizzo, for anybody who's not familiar.
Hey y'all, so I'm about to have me some spaghetti, and one combination I've seen a lot is spaghetti and ranch. So I'm about to try that right now for y'all. So I got this vegan ranch right here. And what I would liken this to is like pizza and ranch, I guess, is what it would kind of be like. I'm excited to try it because I don't know, it just be all mixed up and looking all good. Mix, mix, mix. Chili flakes. Kelly's roasted Parmesan powder. If you know, you know. And I got this hot sauce. It just showed up at my house, so I'm gonna try it. It's habanero hot sauce. Okay. It's creamy.
I really just showed you that video so I could look at you guys' faces while you're watching it. I think we can all agree that's disgusting. But the point of all of this is Lizzo's propagating a very destructive narrative in our country. She's telling us that if we look at that video and say, well, that looks like binge eating to me, that doesn't look healthy. She looks like she's extremely overweight, which has no impact, of course, on her dignity and worth as a human being. However, it is a serious health risk. We are told that that's the same as being racist, that's the same as being homophobic, and that's the same as being transphobic. This is the premise of what she's doing with these videos, wanting us all to watch with this horror, is she's trying to normalize obesity. There's a phrase that you'll start hearing, maybe you've heard this already. It's called health at every size. And medical providers are actually starting to pick this up. They will advertise on their websites that they are an health at every size practitioner, which means when you come into their office, if you have an orthopedic issue, like your knee blew out because you're 400 pounds, or maybe you have diabetes because you eat like this, they won't talk about your weight and the impact that your weight has on that. Their premise is that when you walk into their office, they are going to analyze you outside of your weight. They're going to assume that fat people, extremely obese people, we're not talking about an extra 5, 10, 15 pounds, we're talking about that you can be healthy when you're that weight. And this is, first of all, it's anti-science, just not true. I mean, look at most of, at least half, or almost half, I think it's 40%, of emergency room visits in our country at hospitals are related to obesity, whether that's heart disease or whether that's diabetes. Obesity places an incredible burden on our healthcare system, and we simply ignore that because of cultural stuff that's propagated by people like Lizzo. But more importantly, aside from being anti-science, which it is, more importantly, she is playing an extremely influential role in the destruction of reality. She's telling us that we can't believe our own eyes, that we can't believe our own minds, that we look at her and we say, well, she doesn't look too healthy to me, that we're wrong, that that's a bias, that we are somehow indoctrinated to think that we're seeing something inaccurately when we're in fact seeing it accurately. And that she's teaching us that when we read scientific facts that say, well, listen, if you look like that, if you eat like this, then you're more likely to die. I mean, you never see a 400-pound 80-year-old, do you? 500-pound 80-year-old. Well, why is that? Because, I know this sounds really blunt to say, but if you're extremely overweight, you don't live that long. It takes years off your life. We're not allowed to say that, according to Lizzo, and people telling us that these observations, common sense, yes, personal, sometimes uncomfortable, that these observations aren't reality, that we are simply looking at them through a lens of bigotry and oppression, similar to racism and white supremacy and transphobia and homophobia. And this is all part of this neo-Marxist agenda, is to restructure and redefine, to reorder our minds, to take what we know to be true. We know that the sky is blue on a sunny day. We know that when we drop an apple, gravity is gonna pull it to the ground. There are some things that we just know. And these neo-Marxists are trying to reorganize our minds so that first we feel doubts. Are we fatphobic? Is it that unhealthy to eat like that? Can boys be girls? Are white people inherently racist? They plant these seeds of doubt in our minds so that we feel fear to discuss these issues, and then they hit us with the next level. Then they hit us, once they've deconstructed our minds, they hit us with their indoctrination that teaches us or re-educates us, indoctrinates us into what they want us to believe reality is.